Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This morning I've made it out to a very windy Felixstowe for one of my morning shoots that hasn't happened unfortunately, but that's the way it is. But I've made it out to Cobbold Point and it's been photographed so many times. However, I haven't been able to capture an image of it myself, but made the effort to come out here this morning on a little bit of a road trip for several locations I'm hoping to visit today, but working out to be a really interesting shoot. However, the wind is really gusty, so yeah, unfortunately having to deal with that and battle with it. But the key thing is it's not raining, and that's the most important thing when you're coming out to do these photography trips. So I've already set myself up and taken one image this morning in landscape orientation at f11 ISO 100 and 2 seconds on the shutter speed, and done about 3 or 4 images as a landscape pano to stitch together. We've not got much detail in the sky at all this morning unfortunately, but it's just one of those things unfortunately, but working out to be a really interesting image and hopefully will work out to be a good shoot today. For the next composition, I've literally lowered the tripod down, looked in the opposite direction to the actual Cobbold Point, and framed up the image. Quite interesting. I've got some of the rocks with some of the seaweed on in the foreground, leading to a bit of sand area and then to the big boulders in the background as well, and framing it up and taking a composite image. So I've taken the base image at f5.6 ISO 100 and a 1.3 second exposure for the foreground, and then I've kept the same f-stop but upped the ISO to 1600 and taken an image at 125th of a second to try and freeze some of the water that's splashing up against the rocks here, and hopefully looking to blend both images together. And just had a chat with Craig over there as well, which is an excellent guy, really good photographer, using one of the new Nikon mirrorless cameras, which is fantastic, and also great to have a chat with other fellow photographers as well. And that's the great thing, it's only photographers that are really going to come out in these types of conditions, and when you do, obviously got that common interest and always something to chat about, so it's really great to meet up with him as well today. I had an image set up just now looking right along Cobbold Point at f9 ISO 100 and bracketing the image as well because of the dynamic range, and was lucky enough to get a break in the cloud as well, and the sun really shone through for only about 30 seconds or so, but really lifted the colours fantastic. And where you've got some of the greens on some of the groins here, really sort of made that pop that little bit better. Bracketing the image as well, make sure I've got that dynamic range for when I get back to post-processing the image and hopefully working out really quite well. I then quickly spun the camera around, but I think I missed it, unfortunately, looking back in the direction of where the sun is, because it was highlighting some of the rocks in the foreground. Fantastic. But yeah, I think I missed that one. I have to have a look when I get back to see it on the computer, but yeah, unfortunately, one of those ones that got away, which is always the case, isn't it, really? So yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic location, and chatting away with Craig as well makes it that bit more enjoyable, doesn't it, really? Sharing the joy of photography is fantastic, and yeah, a lot of the time we spend a lot of time as landscape photographers on our own, but when you obviously are out in the elements and sharing it with someone else that's suffering as much as you are to get the images, it makes it all that bit more worth it, doesn't it, really? One more image I'm hopefully going to try and capture now of these rocks and some of the water swirling around it. It's a bit more of a longer exposure, so hopefully that one will work out well as well. For the final composition I've got set up here, I've got the Hoya 10 stop filter on and playing around with several different compositions, looking back down this way, because what I'm actually really liking about the composition here is you've got the rocks over my shoulder here, leading you round to the point here with obviously one of the marker buoys at the end, and I'm creating or framing it up so that's on the left hand side rule of thirds. And then obviously the mid-ground filling up with all of the rocks, and then the slow shutter speed of about 30 seconds, working out to be a really interesting smooth image of obviously all of the sea as well. So settings for that I've got flitted between f9, f5.6 and f11. So once I actually get back to post-processing, working out which one's going to be the best one, I'll obviously post up those details at the bottom as well. And also all of the information about the images that I capture are always in the description below, so make sure you check that out as well. But yeah, real challenge with the wind today, but like I said earlier, the plus point is it's not raining, and yeah, we've had enough of rain and too much in some areas, way too much in some areas of the country, and feel really sorry for those that have obviously been flooded recently, and hopefully they can get their lives back to some normality as soon as possible. But yeah, hopefully the rain won't last around for too much longer for everyone. But here today in Felixstowe, working out to be an enjoyable shoot anyway. So that wind was really relentless there at Cobbold Point this morning, and yeah, but made out for a really interesting shoot, I feel, and nevertheless. So yeah, working out to be a really interesting day so far. So we're going to head off to another location now, but end this vlog here and do part 2 at my next location. But thanks a lot for everyone that's watched. Please make sure you give us a comment, as I really do enjoy the comments. Please give it a like as well, and if you haven't considered it already, please consider subscribing. But until next time, take care.